Hey, welcome to the Economic Report. Today we are talking about the Canadian trade deal and other trade deals. You won't want to miss this episode. I can give you an update on the latest trade deals that have gone down and maybe a couple sticking points with other countries because the August 1st deadline is here. It starts tomorrow, today being July 31st. Let's check out what is in store for us and the world economy moving forward tomorrow. Okay, so far we do not have a trade deal with Canada, and of course, many of the people who follow this channel are either from the United States, Canada, or the UK. I get that. You are from the Anglosphere. Maybe you had share a couple of things here that might be sticking points because I get the impression that behind the scenes, there really is some tangible improvements in this trade deal between the United States and Canada. So you ask yourself, what could possibly go wrong? As fate would have it, it appears as though there's concerns about Canada recognizing the Palestinian state. Now, you might say to yourself, what does that have to do with trade? And the fact of the matter is it really doesn't, but it does everything with policy. And I think we would like to see our best trading partners be on the same page. See, back in 1948, the United States recognized Israel as a nation. And all these years, the Palestinian state has not been recognized by Western powers. And with that, it really becomes a slippery slope. We're not going to make this all about Israel and Palestine here. I don't want to do that with this show, but I do want to recognize the fact that the White House is very concerned that if one Western power recognizes the Palestinian state, then others will follow suit and it's going to create a mess. So there's some pumping of the brakes right now. Let's check out the other trade deals. So another interesting trade deal to really pay attention to is South Korea and the United States has really worked something pretty powerful out. Last week, Japan went ahead and put X amount of dollars into the U.S. Sovereign Wealth Fund with the idea that they will be an investor in this. And now South Korea has followed suit. Kind of a clever idea. South Korea putting $350 billion into the United States, and the United States plans on using those monies to create a cooperative agreement in battery technology, shipbuilding, and microchips and semiconductors. So you
announced a deal with South Korea, which of course is a key U.S. trading partner, with just 2 days to spare before the deadline. The deal officially sets the tariff rate on South Korean imports, which we pay for, they don't, at 15%. Also, as part of the deal, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick says, I'm going to slow this down, South Korea will provide $350 billion to invest in the United States. And they are going to do it as Trump directs.
Take a look at these things and say, wow, those are really powerful dynamics to continue our relationship with South Korea. Of course, we know South Korea is a net exporter. They export a whole heck of a lot more than they import. And so what we're trying to do is try to balance this out a little bit so the United States is able to make sure that we're able to provide the items that South Korea needs. And listen, South Korea will always need semiconductors. South Korea will always need shipping. That's a mutually beneficial fact here as well. And of course, battery production, because most of South Korea's stuff runs on batteries. And of course, if the United States can produce those types of things, then we have a really powerful relationship. There have been other trade deals inked as well. You could say there's one with Indonesia, another with Thailand, and another one where the announcement has not completely come out yet. One with Malaysia, which is pretty powerful. So you might say to yourself, this sounds like a wonderful August 1st celebration as well. But I got to tell you the truth, there's some other ones that are kind of lingering, and maybe, just maybe, we don't have deals worked out with 3 or 4 countries. Maybe you'll recognize the names. This is Brian from the Economic Report. I do these for free, and all that I ask is a like and a subscribe. It costs you absolutely nothing, but it does wonders for this channel. Let's continue the story. So check this out. Brazil. Yes, the B in Brazil, as in the B as in the BRICS nations, is causing a little bit of trouble here and not getting a trade deal inked yet. You might say, well, this got to be an economic issue. It could be, but at least on the surface, Brazil is really coming down on their former leader, who was a close and personal friend with Donald Trump. And as a result, it appears as though partisan politics are now playing a role in that trade deal. Let's check out the other ones. Russia, of course, we really can't put a trade deal together with them because they are in direct confrontation with the United Nations. They are at war with the Ukraine, and any opportunity to try to iron out differences between the United States, the Ukraine, and of course Russia, as well as the UN, has really fallen upon deaf ears, so they're kind of out of the equation altogether. As a matter of fact, Russia might get whacked with more very, very powerful sanctions that could really put additional pressure not only on Russia, but anybody who's doing trading with them. Let's talk China. China today summoned the makers of Nvidia to their government building. And of course, in their government building, they had to raise some eyebrows because of their questioning. They are very concerned about the new deal with Nvidia and the H100 chip. Now, of course, this is something China has really, really wanted for a while because it's going to help push their AI programs forward. But now China is raising questions about, is there backdoor security issues inside the H100 chip? Because many of those things could have ways that maybe the CIA or maybe other government entities can get inside of their systems and spy. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but this is super technical stuff, and I want to remind you that not that many years ago, Huawei tried to do the same thing here in the United States, and there was tremendous amount of concern about just a little cyber bug being placed inside of these equipments and how they would affect the United States and, of course, our overall security. So make no question about it. Technology is huge, but I want to remind you that security and cybersecurity is paramount to any kind of real technology rollouts. Let's check out the next story. While we thought we had a deal worked out with India not that long ago, it's turning out that there's also some concerns about what's going on inside of India because India appears to be buying Russian weapons. Now, of course, if you're buying weapons from Russia, then you're not buying weapons from the United States. That's problem one. And maybe problem two is if India is actually buying weapons from Russia and those weapons just so happen to be created by the Russian manufacturers, then you're also helping bolster Russian weapons productions, and that also causes a problem. And the United States really doesn't want to see that happen. I'm thinking that India will probably come around because India shares a very long border with China and with Russia, and it would not be in their best interests. Russia has proven time and time again that they will sell their weapons to practically anybody that's buying. And of course, I think India would need a more reliable partner, and of course, the United States would be that. So as you can see, the August 1st deadline is rapidly approaching. We have a number of deals that are worked out. I do expect a number of other deals to work out today as well. Pay attention to this channel because we will continue to cover these stories because I know they're important to you because we're one of the few places that cuts out all the garbage and says we're able to connect what's going on with DC politics, what's going on with Wall Street economics right here to Main Street where people like you and I live. Make sure you're liked and subscribed, and remember the biggest battle you fight is the one between your ears. Thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you tomorrow.